So tonight we're going to talk about recruiting members for your investment club. This is a topic that is often of interest to clubs. Once you've been together for a few years, maybe you started with a full slate of members, and then you had some inevitably who had to withdraw. If that trend continues, you end up with a club that may not be large enough or viable enough to continue. There's simply not enough members to do the work. Club members may feel overwhelmed. Your club will eventually run out of gas unless you have members who are on board and who are joining your club on a fairly regular basis. And recruitment is something that I think clubs should be taking advantage of or be cognizant of throughout the year. Don't just wait until all of a sudden you realize, oh, we've only got 8 members in our club or 7 members. We should start thinking about recruiting. At that point, it's a little too late. So if you think about your total desired number of club members, even if you feel like you can't or won't add members at the current time, it's still a great idea to have a waiting list. And actually, if you are so popular that people want to join and your bylaws limit the total membership and you're not opening the doors at this point, having people on the waiting list can be a great way to incentivize people to want to join your club because they won't be able to get in. If your club is slowly winding down and losing members, then your club becomes a lot less attractive. So it's maybe counterintuitive, but the right time to be working on new member recruitment is right now. There's never been a better time, and it should be an ongoing part of your club operation. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, some tips for how to keep this activity in the forefront of your club members, get them thinking about it, providing the tools that will help in your member recruitment activities. Traditionally, investment clubs as private partnerships look to the people that you know, the friends and family, the people you work with, people in your church or in your school or in your neighborhood. And so those are great traditional sources of members. Be thinking beyond the traditional groups and associations that you might belong to. Certainly, if you have are a member of a fraternal or a civic club or an alumni group, those can be great opportunities to reach out to people outside your usual social circle who might have an interest in being part of your investment club. Better investing chapters around the country and the new online chapter that's just starting up are great opportunities as well to meet people locally. And if they're interested in investment clubs, that can be a great source of recruiting members. Russell is a member of the Silicon Valley chapter in California, and their chapter has some programs to help match people who might be looking for clubs with clubs that might be looking for members.
Yeah, we in the past had a find a club, start a club, how to start a club and have clubs come in. We've been asked to change that to visit a club because of SEC regulations. You can't advertise clubs; they might be considered a security. So, and we're thinking of getting into that. So, if you and having public meetings or other events to try and get clubs out and together, they can brainstorm and also meet new people who might be possible new members. So if you have a local chapter nearby, and you can find them in Better Investing Magazine in the back in the contacts, let them know you might be interested in that. They would be glad to hear from you.
We'll talk more about some of the don'ts of member recruitment. Russell brought up the issue of what the SEC, how the SEC looks at investment partnerships, advertising for new partners. And so we'll take a look at that as well and provide some guidelines. But those are some great sources of members. In the contemporary today, beyond the traditional side, they have there are opportunities on social media and using Twitter and Facebook and even Instagram to spread word about your club to friends of friends. I have seen people who just post, a photo, a selfie at their club meeting each month and saying, here's the XYZ investment club at our June meeting, looking at our portfolio or talking about new stocks or voting to invest in a particular company. And as you do that, maybe you don't get thousands of likes for each post, but over time, you can really kind of build up some interest, and people might be curious and will follow up with you. So again, it's the kind of thing where you're not pushing you're pushing the message out, but you're not pushing it onto anyone. And so you can, it's not like you're sending out a email to all of your friends asking them if they want to be in an investment club, but just providing it as part of your typical activities, what you're doing day to day. Where you're eating, if you go out to eat, where you're going for a hike or a bike ride or visiting with family. Your investment club can be part of that. And may not be the most photogenic to take a picture of your club meeting, but on the other hand, you're doing something that is really unique. And I think that'd be great to share that more broadly. Better Investing does have a Find a Club program. And this program, if your club is eligible, all the members of your club have to be Better Investing members, and you sign up for the program, and then your club's name gets included on a list of clubs that are interested in having other Better Investing members visit them, having other Better Investing members join their club. And so the way that this program works, it's been vetted, it runs according to some SEC guidance, I think, to keep it from running afoul of any potential problems there. But it can be a great way. And again, once you're within the Better Investing umbrella, if these are Better Investing individual members who are looking for a club, they've already joined the organization and they're already looking for learning about the tools and learning about the methodology. So they've got a leg up on people who might not be as familiar with Better Investing and what it's about. So again, you can contact Better Investing about that. Certainly online forums. Yeah, go ahead, Russell.
Oh, I just wanted to say, they've changed the name slightly, so it's now Visit a Club rather than Find a Club.
All right, we'll change that. Visit a club. And again, we'll talk more about how you can use that club visitation idea to help build interest in your club. Certainly online forums, especially if they're local, could be an interesting way. In my town, there are various town forums on Facebook, and even my neighborhood has its own forum where people can talk about what's going on in the neighborhood, occasionally posting if there's a yard sale or they've got something they're giving away, a piece of furniture or something like that. Again, those sorts of social networks provide rich opportunities, I think, that could be exploited for this. And this, I've seen people who've had bumper stickers and buttons, pins that say, ask me about, a particular topic. So why not ask me about my investment club? Somebody is bound to say, well, tell me about your investment club. And it's a great conversation starter. So think about ways that you can start conversations with people that you're dealing with on a regular basis. I think that all clubs should have a recruitment document. Hopefully your club has some guidance for how to add new members to your club. What are the requirements for joining? Is there a financial commitment upfront that they have to make? What the monthly, in addition to the monthly dues, do they have to attend a certain number of meetings? Do they have to give an educational presentation to the club before they are elected? What are those requirements? And so beyond that, you can develop an introductory letter that anyone in your club could give to prospects that talk about the history of the club, when you were founded, maybe give a little bit of the portfolio details, the approach that you use for investing, certainly what you expect of your members, how much they need to participate, attend, contribute financially to the club should be detailed there. If you've got an investment policy statement or an investment philosophy, that's a great thing that you can attach to it, that investment policy document, or you can summarize it in this letter. What's your meeting schedule? And of course, emphasize it's not just a financial commitment, but it's also an educational and social activity, and that could certainly should certainly be part of your focus there. If you prepare this for members, every member could customize it or add their contact information and share it with other people. You can prepare this document and put it in your myICLUB file storage and make that file public, and then you could simply direct people to your myICLUB club's public storage area, public files area, where they could download this and other documents. So you want to make it as clear and as professional looking as possible without looking like too much like a financial report, really. So strike the right balance between professional, businesslike, and friendly and engaging in this document. And I think that creating this document gets the club thinking about what their expectations are for members and who might fit the bill that they know, who might be a potential candidate to be a member. I think that every club should have one meeting a year where which is their invite a friend night, and that night should be more social than businesslike, but the idea is that everyone is encouraged to bring one or more friends to attend the meeting. And again, you're not trying to sign people up for anything, but anybody who said, well, I've always been kind of interested, but I'm not quite sure, you can say, well, we're having this invite a friend night, so I've been asked to bring a couple of my friends who might be interested, so why don't you come? You can learn how we do it, and maybe it's not for you, but maybe you'll understand a little bit more and can make a decision about joining the club. I think that the idea is you have a brief club meeting where you have your agenda, maybe a little educational presentation, maybe a stock presentation. Keep it short. Don't bring a whole lot of new business or administrative tasks to the meeting, but just the idea is get the business portion done, give people a taste of what happens at your club meeting, keep it casual, and you're doing two things. One, you're helping your club to widen its net of potential members, but two, you're showing your friends and acquaintances who are coming to this invite a friend night that there is a sound way to be investing in the stock market where you're not beholden to the trends that Wall Street says we have to pay attention to, where you don't have to have a broker who's pulling your money in and out of the market and moving assets all around, that you can invest in a common sense approach. And for a lot of people, that understanding is something that they find very hard to come by. By attending a Better Investing Club meeting, I think that's something that they can gain. So I think that has that great advantage that will help both in your recruiting, and it'll be a service that you do to your friends and acquaintances. So I mentioned that we talk about some of the no-nos of recruiting members for a partnership. Investing partnerships are are completely legal. There's nothing wrong with an investing partnership. You're just making an agreement between private citizens to engage in an activity that's, again, that's legal, and there's nothing, there's absolutely no problem with it. There's no loopholes to be exploited by investment clubs. But what happens if you decide that you want to really get your club to be very large and you start advertising? Well, that's one of the conditions that the SEC can look at to determine if your partnership is operating in such a way that's really not a private investment partnership, but is operating as a public partnership. In other words, as a security that's being offered as an investment opportunity to individuals of some sort. So the SEC has some guidelines. If you've got more than 100 members, the SEC it will look at your investment club and say, well, this is one of the conditions that doesn't seem to lead us to believe that this is just a little private investment club. And so, but they're willing to suspend disbelief. Maybe you've got all of your friends and friends and friends and friends and friends and friends and friends number more than 100, and everyone is meeting, on a quarterly basis. I've heard of clubs that operate that way. And they have a little investment committee that makes the decisions. That's fine. If you're paying someone, that's, again, the IRS looks at that and says, well, that is, you're paying someone to provide investment research and analysis and management of your assets. That is somebody who should be registered. And the partnership that they are working for should perhaps qualify to be registered as well. And so if you have passive members in your club, members who don't do any work but simply put money in, well, again, the SEC looks at that and says, that doesn't seem very much like an investment club. And then finally, if you advertise in the newspaper and say, give us your money, put it in this investment club, be a member, and we'll find financial success together, put it all together, and the SEC is likely to say, hey, you've gone too far. So basically, Better Investing's guidance on these points, in each of them by itself is probably not enough to trigger interest by federal state regulators. But the more you pile on, the more likely you are to run into problems. And if you do advertise, that again can be construed as an activity that the SEC could look askance at and say, all right, this is not really the intention of the investment clubs that we like to support. So as a result, we kind of stay away from it. I think there's other issues with advertising in the newspaper, or buying an ad online or something like that, where the people that you attract probably harder for you to qualify. They're not people that you know. Can you trust them? Are they going to contribute in any meaningful way to your club? So for all of those reasons, I tend to suggest that clubs stay away from that kind of activity. Having said that, I think it's probably okay in your church bulletin or your work newsletter or your alumni newsletter to say, we've started an investment club. If you're interested in learning more about it, come to a meeting and check it out. We're always open to visitors. We've got education as part of every meeting. And so, again, you're just opening your doors. It's an open house. You're inviting guests in. If some of those people want to go to the next step, well, now you've already got an understanding, or you've got a connection to them that you can continue to develop. I think that cold prospects, or people that you kind of randomly discover through some of these methods, should really be vetted pretty thoroughly before they join. So make sure that you understand them, make sure that they come to meetings, kind of get to know them. And certainly in my investment club history, we have had, people who've known people who are interested, who would come to meetings. Sometimes it would work out. Other times they would come to a couple of meetings and it would not be for them. we had a lot of success going to Better Investing chapter events and meeting people that way and saying, yeah, you're interested? Well, come visit our club and check us out. And again, they already were so interested, they were attending events, so it made it really a great way to connect. But we had that interest in common, and I think that's really key.
Doug, I just want to add about Better Investing events, chapter events. They often have a sign-up sheet. I'm looking for a club, and club saying we're looking for new members. And sometimes they even have different colored. You wear a little red or blue sticker, and one means you're with a club looking for members, and one means I'm looking for a club to join. So check it out. See if they have. If you are attending a BI chapter event, check out if they have something like that.
Yeah, I think that's great. You can't say enough about other attending BI events or connecting with BI members as a great way of finding members for your club. Again, there are already people who have found Better Investing, and so I think they have the potential to be great members of your partnership. Now, I also suggest that you create a packet for new members or for new prospective members beyond your sort of recruitment document, maybe something a little more specific that will go into the details more than your main recruiting document. Again, if you have this stuff written down, it just makes it very easy. There's no chance of misunderstandings. And again, it gives your club the opportunity to develop this document and figure out what they want from new members. Again, if your partnership has specifics, you should be abiding by that. But also, your partnership agreement may be very broad, and so you have the opportunity to determine, all right, how many meetings? Is it 3 meetings? What's the minimum contribution at that point? And what are the real requirements for joining? You might say in your recruitment document, might say, oh, you must give a presentation, an educational presentation to the club, and in your new member packet might have a little bit more detail about how that goes about. Here are links to resources. Go watch this webinar. Here's a mentor from our club who will help you with getting up to speed as quickly as possible so you can be a contributing member. On the myICLUB website, you have the ability to invite visitors to join your club as visitors, not as members, and they have a different set of rights and privileges as visitors to your club. So they can see the club's accounting information, including transactions and reports. And again, the idea is that these should not be casual visitors, but these are people who are interested in joining the club, who've expressed and are following through. So the reason that they can view the accounting information is because if they're going to invest money with these people, they have the right to know, what's the financial situation, what's the portfolio look like, how much have other people contributed. They can view and contribute to the watch list, which could be part of your member requirements to add a stock to the watch list, to choose a stock, and we can follow up on that stock. They can view the members and the visitors, but not the personal information. So they can't see your home address, your social security number, your telephone number. They can view files in the file library. They can view the calendar. The admin can your club's administrator can give visitors more access from the people's page. Now, in your message boards, there's a private messages list. That's really only for members. It's always restricted to members. There's another message board list or message boards that you can create that members can participate in. So by default, when you set up your myICLUB club, there were 2 message boards. One was a private list and one was a general list. The general list was for members and visitors. So you can take a look at that as a possible way of engaging people once they have expressed an interest. So once members join your club, you hear just a few ideas for how to get them up to speed as quickly as possible and get them being contributing members, not only financially, but to the club's investment analysis and research. I think a mentoring program is great. Having a current member who is assigned to be the mentor to help train the new member can give them advice on what tools are going to be best suited for them to start analyzing stocks, suggesting websites, etc. In my club in the past, we have had new members would come in, a half an hour, 45 minutes before the regular club meeting to meet with their mentor, and they would do a little educational presentation and do a little one-on-one education about how to do the stock selection guide, how to use the SSG tools, and so on. And that was very, very useful. Today, with online education or communication programs like Google Hangouts and GoToWebinar, et cetera, Zoom is now very popular. There are inexpensive ways that you can meet, demonstrate tools, demonstrate software, and work with people remotely without having to actually meet up. So with the power of your computer and your mobile phone, you're able to work with that new member and get them up to speed as quickly as possible. And then hopefully from there, it won't be too long before that new member will be mentoring other new members and get them into the club's family and help them contribute to the club's long-term success. So those are some thoughts on recruiting new members. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to address them. Russell, do you have any final thoughts on our topic
Yeah,
tonight?
actually, while we're doing this, I thought of something else. The Federal Reserve Board of Chicago used to sponsor a whole week for financial education. They called it Money Smart Week. It was the end of April. They have expanded that to a whole month. It's called Financial Literacy Month. Better Investing is one of the organizations that participates. So a lot of the Better Investing chapters do lots of things in April. Often during libraries, one of the things is they have model clubs meet, so you can see what a model club looks like. Model clubs also go through and try to help clubs find other clubs and work with your chapter if they're doing something for financial literacy, something like that. Maybe have a club, visit a club type event during that time. So you can get clubs together, talk about their club, and people are interested in knowing about clubs and maybe finding a club to join can come to one place and see multiple clubs.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity. And libraries have been at the forefront of that financial literacy initiative. So if you talk to your local library and say, maybe during this month we can do a little presentation or talk about investment clubs or have a meeting there, that might be a great timing. Jeff says that his small community school has adult education classes. He put together a class called Stock Market Investing for Beginners, focusing on Better Investing's philosophy. And at the end of the class, asked if anyone was interested in forming a club, and they formed a club with 4 members. And so now they are working on giving another class to recruit new members. So again, just an innovative way of contributing. I've taught classes on investment clubs at my local adult education programs here in my hometown, and it doesn't have to necessarily, you don't have to be the financial expert to give a class on investment clubs. If you are an investment club member and have some experience with it, you can certainly talk about what it takes and put together a presentation, try to make it as compelling and interesting as possible as part of broader investor education efforts. So that can be definitely an avenue that you can take a look at.
I see there are a couple comments about the name Visit a Club rather than Find a Club. The comments about Find a Club may be a bit more accurate in what's really going on. Yeah, the reason they changed it is just to make sure they don't run afoul of SEC regulations, advertising regulations. So, yeah, I would agree. I maybe Find a Club's a more accurate, but Visit a Club is a more cautious approach so that they don't run afoul of the SEC.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and I think it still works. And there have been some chapters who have pioneered this sort of visit a club initiative going back for many years. And the idea is, it's also kind of a low pressure way. Visit an investment club, see what it's all about. And if you want to learn more, the resources are right there. The people are there who you can talk to. And I think most clubs, we've certainly had people who joined or visited our investment club who were interested in starting their own club, and they just wanted to learn more about how clubs operated. I think that's fine. Our club was happy to help them get another club up and running. And so I think there's plenty of opportunity for everyone there. Peggy says, what is Better Investing? Well, Better Investing is the parent of iClubcentral. BetterInvesting.org is the website, and it's a national nonprofit organization founded in the 1950s. They really were the initiators of the modern investment club movement. So they have a membership program, and they provide tools for investment analysis and portfolio management and investment club operations in conjunction with iClubcentral. And so we talk about better investing a lot. Russell is a volunteer as well as part of our iClubcentral team, and around the country there's 65 or so chapters now all run by volunteers who give classes, support investment clubs, and in other ways promote the philosophy and methodology of common sense stock investing. So you can find more at betterinvesting.org, the website, and there's a brand new website coming next week. Will be launched, I believe. So it's been many years in the development, and it's going to be a lot of great new resources and reorganization to help people find things a little better. So that's coming up as well. So Diane, yes, you can contact us with your question about the PEG ratio. We can take a look. Somebody can help you out with that, or if you send us an email or reach us on our support page, that would be great. All right, well, I want to thank you for coming tonight. Thanks, Russell, for helping out. Wish you all the best for your investment club portfolio success through the rest of the year. We'll look forward at seeing you at our next investment club webinars as we wrap up this 2019 year. We always have a busy year-end schedule. Our tax printer software is on track. Once again, offering e-filing for the IRS, New York State, and a couple of new states that we're launching e-filing for, and then we're providing paper filing for the remainder of those states. So team is hard at work getting those all staged and approved by the states, and we're waiting for some states, of course, to finalize their tax forms for the year so we can get to work. But the team's been busy working on this since April, so we are all set to go. Look forward to seeing you at our next webinars. Thanks again, and we'll see you at our next Investment Club webinar.